Let's get it on then, shall we? Mwah. Welcome to Sex on the Peach, your weekly hump day dose of everyone's favourite untalked about topic, sex. Let's get honest, let's get open, let's get comfortable, and let's get in to this week's show. Friends, lovers, listeners, happy Wednesday, happy hump day, and happy Sex on the Peach day. I am back from my 69-day hiatus for a little Christmas special before we get properly into season 3 in the new year. But let's face it, Christmas can be a bit of a stressful time. If you're someone who also celebrates Thanksgiving and even Halloween, and if you're my friend, we all know that I turned the entirety of November into a national holiday. It's all a bit relentless. And despite the romance and connection we see in all of the Hallmark movies, Christmas can feel a bit less burning loins and more burning out. And yet it's a time of year that seems to be full of pressure for intimacy and sex. We all know, I think that pressure is a passion killer. And so I'm here to tell you that Christmas does not have to be the sexiest time of the year for you and your partner or partners. I mean, for anyone who does feel sexy after a Christmas dinner, I fucking salute you because I'm giving food coma. So today's episode is just a little 12 days, or rather 12 tips of Xmas. There's no way to make that sound good. If you want to inject some mischief under the mistletoe. If you're dreaming of a wet Christmas. So let's get into it. Here is, "Oh Come, All Ye Faithful." Okay, so in 2021, Relate ran a survey and found that 70% of adults feel that Christmas puts extra stress and pressure on their relationships. We all know by now that one of the first things that very commonly gets affected in relationships when stress and pressure hit is your sexual connection, because people often just don't have the time and energy to create the intimacy needed to go alongside. So if you feel your libido is less great and more Grinch, do not worry. You are not alone and you are in good company. We all know that I want sex to be playtime for you all. I also know that's not realistic for people 100% of the time. But I want less pressure, more pleasure. So these are just some fun, silly, joyful little ways to ignite some playfulness back into the holiday sex whirlwind. I would like to add at this point, if you do not want to have sex over the holidays, you do not have to. Ever. I would like to think that anyone would know that from me at this point, but I do want to reiterate it regardless. I never ever want anyone to feel like they are forced, coerced, or pressured into having sexual or intimate time just because you feel you should. And I know how that can be on milestone days. Birthdays, Valentine's Day, anniversaries, Christmas, New Year's, even wedding nights. People think they have to pull the best sex of their lives out of the bag, and it's just not about that. It's one of the biggest sex myths ever that we should automatically feel up for it on any kind of special day. If you need a sex break over the holidays, for whatever reason, it doesn't have to be because you have children and you're exhausted. If your drive is low and you aren't feeling it, that is reason enough. But just be honest with your partner or partners if you have them and explain that so that people aren't feeling out there in the wild wondering if they're doing something wrong, because this is where we can create a downward spiral. But if you're feeling a little tingle, tingle, jingle, jingle, and you want to see where you can find those moments for play and pleasure over the festive period, we're going to get cracking. Now, when it comes to Christmas sex tips, the puns come thick and fast, even faster than that quickie you're trying to sneak when you're back at the family house. I've seen everything from suggested 69s, because it is, of course, the season of giving and receiving, to lesbian three-ways being labelled ho, ho, ho. I'm still trying to decide quite how I'm feeling about that one, to be honest with you. But here are 12 Christmas-themed sex tips to get you rocking around that Christmas tree. They're silly, they're fun, they're not to be taken too seriously. Baby, it's cold outside, but it sure is hot in here. Let's get on with it, shall we? The 12 tips of Xmas. Here we go. 12 Santa costumes. Okay, Christmas-themed dress-up and role-play ideas. You want to literally be the gift your partner has to unwrap? Then let's chat about using ribbon for a bit of spice in the bedroom. It's like the gateway drug to bondage. It looks pretty, right? But hold up, it's got its own set of quirks. So if you are into those disposable gift wrapping ribbons, you can create super cute curls when you're tying up your partner. But here's the deal. You've got to be extra careful with those because it can actually cut off circulation, and you don't want your partner accidentally turning into Houdini and trying to break free from their ties. So you could try a silk ribbon, especially the wider ones. Very luxurious against the skin. They feel comfy. You get my drift. You can basically turn a sexual experience into a gift wrapping extravaganza. But be prepared to be a bit of a knot ninja and keep some scissors close. Maybe even watch a couple of gift wrapping tutorials, because the right knot can make all the difference. Or we can look at our favourite power dynamic in the North Pole. Maybe it's time to move over Santa and let Mrs. Claus take charge in the bedroom. Christmas is a time when people sometimes just need a good old-fashioned bossing around. We won't get into the nitty-gritty of what exactly goes down in the elf workplace up at the North Pole, but let's just say your elf is super dedicated to their job during the holiday hustle. Like, really dedicated. So when it comes to getting into some playful scenarios, there are two main routes for that whole elf/slave play vibe. So here's the deal. It's a joint decision for you and your partner. Is your little helper all about anticipating your needs? I mean, do you want them to bring you milk and cookies? I don't know. Or are they more into the silent vibe until you give them the green light to follow your orders? You decide. And lastly, are you curious if you've landed on the naughty or nice list this year? Well, there's a fun way to uncover the verdict. In this role play, you can choose who's going to be sub and who's going to be dom. And the submissive partner spills all their naughty deeds they've been up to throughout the year to the dominant partner. Each confession might come with a cheeky spank or whatever you decide is the punishment. And once the list is out, it's in the hands of the dom to decide if the naughty deeds warrant a Christmas treat or not. Naughty or nice, the spanks spill the beans. As always, when you are playing with any level of BDSM or any role play, remember your safe words and keep things respectful and consensual. 11 silent quickies. Okay, so if you've got in-laws crashing at your place or family members taking over your guest room this month, you might worry about keeping the love alive without waking up the entire household. Listen, don't let your temporary roommates put a dampener on your love life. It's time for a bit of silent night. Yep, enter the silent sex, where moans and dirty talk take a back seat, and the real show is all about intense eye contact, suggestive facial expressions, and bodily cues. If anyone has heard my podcast with Shakira Scott on Own It with Mona Lisa, as she would say, blink twice if you like it. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not the quietest of people. It's a challenge. So it's time to find the fun in it and relish in the silence. And if you're feeling a bit adventurous or kinky, or basically you're like me and need some forced silence because you can't keep your mouth shut for more than 2 seconds in one way or another, you can even toss in a gag of sorts to spice things up a notch. Because family, we love them. But who says their visits have to mean putting your love life on pause, right? 10 sex positions. Okay, I get it. We can all sometimes fall into the routine of sticking to the same old positions when it comes to getting frisky. But guess what? There's a super easy way to shake things up and turn your love game into an exciting adventure. Yep, you guessed it. Trying out some Christmas-themed positions. It's like giving your bedroom routine a much-needed makeover. Not only does it add a dash of variety, but it can also dial up the pleasure and boost your confidence between the sheets. So consider it your ticket to exploring new emotions and sensations in the bedroom. Time to mix it up and make your intimate moments feel fresh and exciting. And introducing a festive theme just makes it even cuter, in my opinion. I'm not going to actually give you 10 positions because we would be here all day, but I will give you a few. The festive feast. Let's talk about taking your oral game to the next level. Yes, I basically put this one in here for myself, and what? This one is for the seasoned oral pros. Now, according to the Ann Summers team, here is the deal. For the ultimate head rush while receiving mind-blowing oral, try this move. Support your weight by resting your thighs on your partner's shoulders and let them hold on to your waist. Feeling even more adventurous? Go for the handstand option. Yes, it's a head rush and a handstand all in one. And being upside down isn't just a wild thrill. It also means that blood rushes to your head, giving you the perfect excuse to get lost in the moment and focus entirely on pleasure. This daring position also opens up your airways, allowing you to explore every deep throat desire while enjoying some seriously good oral. You can even throw in some flavoured lube for an extra sensation. Literally, it's giving lick my candy cane. And get ready for an orgasm from a whole new perspective. And listen, if the acrobatics seem a bit much, no worries. You can literally just opt for a lying down version, like a side-by-side 69. For a more grounded, shall we say, but equally thrilling experience. Tingle all the way. Now let's dive into a position that's perfect for a holiday quickie, because we all know that festive fun sometimes has to be a bit spontaneous. One person takes a seat on the bed or the floor, hands behind their back for balance, with legs slightly bent and crossed at the ankles, forming a triangle shape. Now the other person sits on top, facing their partner, then leans back with arms stretched out behind and legs bent, feet resting on their partner's shoulders. And according to Aloni, one of my favourite sex educators ever, since you're both seated, movement is minimal. It's like the silent ninja of positions, which is ideal if you fancy a quickie and want to keep the noise down. Tingle all the way, right? Jingle bells. Lastly, here's a gem for those post-Christmas feast moments when you're feeling pretty tuckered out, but you still want to keep the festive vibes alive. So one partner lies on their back, butt facing the lucky partner, knees bent and thrown over their thighs. The other one is on their side, both legs bent and slightly apart, creating the perfect setup for a leisurely paced thrust. And guess what? Your hands are free to add in a little extra stimulation. It's like the lazy yet festive position that, yes, still manages to jingle those bells. Obviously, feel free to come up with your own festive positions and please report back and let me know what you come up with. 9 special decors. Okay, so let's talk about setting the mood for some serious romance, because you can turn your place into the ultimate love nest. You know, the kind that not only warms your heart, but also heats things up a bit. And it's all about creating that perfect ambiance. And Christmas is a perfect time for that when you are in fairy light pinecone land. Soft lighting, silky sheets, sweet fragrances, and always some mood-enhancing tunes. It's like a sensory wake-up call that just makes everything feel a bit more intimate and sparks a little magic. Now, in the realm of getting even more frisky when it comes to your choice of scents, research suggests that certain essential oils are like secret weapons. We're talking cinnamon, Hawaiian sandalwood, Bulgarian rose, jasmine, and ylang ylang. I feel like that's how you pronounce it, right? I might have that wrong. They are like nature's aphrodisiacs, and apparently they can amp up the desire, sharpen your senses, and maybe even give your performance a little boost. And let's not forget the mistletoe. Hang that baby strategically, and you've got yourself an excuse for some spontaneous snogs. It's like the icing on the romantic cake. So consider this your excuse to turn your space into a sensual haven and let the good vibes flow. Get walking in your orgasm wonderland. 8 Santa letters. Yes, that's right. Write your letter to Santa. I get it. I bang on about it pretty much every episode. Asking for what you want, especially in the bedroom, can sometimes be a bit tricky, right? Well, here's a fun and festive way to tackle that. So grab a pen and paper and sit down separately and write out your Christmas sex wish list. Yep, you heard that right. 12 things that you would like to try. And don't hold back. It's your chance to get as adventurous as you want. Now here's where it gets interesting. Cut out each steamy little wish, fold them up, and put them in a jar. And it's not just your jar, it's a shared wish jar with your partner or partners, because you're all in this together. Starting from December 25th, make it a little daily ritual. Take turns picking out a wish or a couple of wishes from the jar. And hey, if you're up for it, why not give it a go? It's like unwrapping a naughty surprise every day. And who knows, you might discover some new favourites along the way. So here's to 12 days of festive fun and a lot of ho ho hot moments. 7 elves on the shelf. All right, can we talk about Elf on the Shelf? Like, where, when, how, what in the made up nonsense is Elf on the Shelf? I feel like one year, everyone just decided that it was a tradition that had existed since the dawn of time. Like, first came Jesus, and then came Elf on the Shelf. But I literally never heard of Elf on the Shelf before like a couple of years ago. Make it make sense. Can someone please explain to me the dawn, the birth, the inception of Elf on the Shelf? Anyway, I digress. Personally, he gives me the fucking creeps and reminds me of something that would come to life in a horror movie, like The Bride of Chucky or something. I know, I'm really loading this up so well to make it sexy, aren't I? At least I feel passionately about it, so let's channel that passion elsewhere. So hey, if you've got one or a few of these creepy freaks lying around, here's a quirky little idea. You can write some cute notes about what you are looking forward to doing with your partner and slip them under the elf. Then play a little hide and seek with Mr. Creepy Freak Elf. Stick him in unexpected places like the shower or a drawer or the fridge. It's either going to freak your partner out, like it probably would me, or crack them up. But either way, you should score major points for managing to turn Elf on the Shelf into a sex game. Massive Christmas-themed creativity with this move, and I am legit proud of myself, and I still hate the little things. 6 festive loops. I don't even know if I'm staying in the same key. Anyway, a little something to help Santa up the chimney. Yep, it's time for some festive lube. I know half the nation lost it at Asda's Tingle All the Way lube, but let's talk about how lube can take your holiday to a whole new level. Just a couple of drops of lube on a penis or a clitoris or a hand or a toy can seriously crank up the arousal. Imagine intensifying sensations with every move. It's like a personal arousal boost. Yes, we're going to get onto toys, but compared to pricier vibrators, lube is easy on the holiday budget. It's super user-friendly and a game changer for spicing up your intimate moments. And here's a bonus tip. If you rub a few drops on those stubborn price tag labels that you get on your presents, they'll slide right off. Lube literally gets rid of label residue. Talk about a win-win. You can also get so many festive flavoured lubes, whether that's gingerbread, mince pie, candy cane. No need to wait until Christmas Day to eat some of your festive favourites. 5 anal beads. Okay, anyone who follows me on my Sex on the Peach Instagram is probably sick to the teeth of my daily videos of the Love Honey Womanizer Advent Calendar that I have been releasing throughout the entirety of December. Still 4 days to go. We have seen sex toys for vulva owners, penis owners, solo toys, couple toys, kink and bondage enthusiasts, the pillow princesses out there. It has been a solid 20 days of sex toys, sex aids, and sex accessories. Some I will use, and some I will be aggressively sending on to other people because it will bring them pleasure rather than sit in my drawer forevermore. But basically, you've seen me talk about sex toys every day for the past 3 weeks. And this is your sign that if you haven't introduced a toy into your sex life, whether solo or partnered, Now is your time. Maybe as a gift for your partner or for yourself. You can keep it simple with a small bullet vibrator. You could introduce the fucking treat, that is the clitoral stimulator. You could up your hand job with a stroker. Honestly, please check out the Love Honey Advent Calendar videos to see the plethora of toys that you can get your hands on. And I promise, introducing sex toys will just elevate your sex life. Sometimes Santa just needs a little helper, you know. 4 Christmas songs. Okay, let's crank up the holiday vibes with a little game that's sure to make your Christmas playlist way more exciting. So, first things first, pick a Christmas song that both of you are totally vibing with. Buzzing for Bublé, Moved by Mariah. Got it? Great. Okay, so here's the fun bit. Whenever that magical tune starts playing, whether you're hitting the shops, cruising in the car, or getting your groove on at a party, make a pact to hit pause on everything else and indulge in a serious makeout session. I'm talking about snogging each other's faces off. Full on holiday style. Feeling a bit daring and adventurous? Well, why not take it up a further notch? If the mood strikes and you're both up for it, find a cozy spot. Maybe pull over if you're in the car. Don't get arrested. And explore more than just a kiss. It's like a spontaneous holiday rendezvous. And who knows? You might end up with more than just chestnuts roasting on an open fire. I'm sorry, they're so bad. But here's to making your Christmas playlist a soundtrack for some unforgettable moments. That's the kind of Spotify Wrapped we're looking for. 3 sexy baths. Listen, Christmas, it's exhausting. And I don't even have children. Sometimes the sexiest thing we can do is take a moment to relax. So let's dial up the romance and intimacy with a gesture that's sure to earn you some serious brownie points. Picture this. You decide it's time to treat your partner like the king or queen they are, or whatever title of their choosing they would like. First up, run them a dreamy bath. And we're not just talking any bath. Throw in some floating candles, maybe add a hint of a cinnamon-scented oil or one of the earlier mentioned oils. It's all about setting the mood, you know. Make sure you've got the fluffiest towels on hand. Pour a glass of mulled wine. Cue up their favourite tunes on the down low. When your partner emerges from their relaxation haven, guide them to the bedroom that you've transformed into a sanctuary. Fresh bed linen? Check. Scented candles casting a soft glow? Check. It's like stepping into a romance novel, but better. Now here's where you become the ultimate partner. Give them a gentle massage and let your hands do the talking. I'm sorry, I'm getting too into this. Anyway, okay. If things start to take a turn towards the steamy side, just remember one thing. They come first. It's all about making your partner feel cherished and adored. I know having the time to do something like this is really a privilege. So it's just one suggestion of many for anyone who does have the time. But if you do, dim the lights, set the mood, and get ready to make your partner feel like the luckiest person in the world. 2 solo sessions. For all my jingle ladies out there, I'm fucking joking. Whether you're single or not, penis owner or vulva owner, it's important to make time for yourself between the sheets. But it's true, Anne Summers did come up with a little solo position called All the Jingle Ladies. But really anyone can do it. So let's talk about a little self-love celebration that's all about unwrapping your sexual potential. If you're looking to blow off some steam, especially after a long-ass year, this move might just be your perfect go-to. So, you're lying on your back, legs raised, and you could do this on your bed or even on the floor. From this comfy position, you've got the green light to explore your whole body. Use one hand to give your nipples some attention, to stroke wherever feels good. And the other, well, that's where the real magic happens. Focus on your genitals. Use a toy. Maybe even venture into some anal play. If you're feeling extra festive, you could also think about adding a butt plug into the mix for a touch of holiday magic, if that works for you. I will always support and suggest anal play, even though it's not my thing. I live vicariously through anyone who enjoys it, honestly. But it's all about discovering your own pleasure and just having a bit of fun with it. So do make time for yourselves over the holiday period. Taking care of ourselves helps us also take care of our partners. And an honest conversation. Surely you knew we weren't going to get through an episode without me talking about my favourite thing, communication, right? So let's have a real talk about sex and intimacy, because you know what? They're not just good for the soul. They are also excellent stress busters. Now I get it. We've almost come full circle to the beginning of the episode. With all the chaos of the holidays, sex might be the last thing on your mind, and that's totally cool. But if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed and in the mood for something more pleasurable than stressful this Christmas, have a conversation with your partner or partners. Set some expectations, some boundaries for what sex might look like for you over the holiday season. First things first, initiating is nerve-wracking. I totally get it. Whether you are just getting to know someone or you've been married forever, that little anxiety about expressing your desires is pretty universal, as much as I want us all to be rid of it. But guess what? Stepping out of your comfort zone and trying something new can be exciting for you and your partner or partners. So, this Christmas, for me, I ask you to give it a shot and just see where it takes you. Talking about past intimate experiences and what made them unforgettable is a fantastic way to celebrate your sexuality, past, present, and future. Just maybe stick to memories you've made together rather than with other people. And sometimes the anticipation can be as satisfying as the act itself. So why not stretch out the excitement by spending an evening discussing all the things you'd love to do together without laying a finger on each other? Who knows? You might stumble upon a secret desire you never knew existed. It's all about keeping things fresh and discovering new dimensions to your pleasure. So let's make sure you get something off your wish list tonight. Okay, so there are your 12 tips of Xmas. Let's run it down one more time, shall we? Here we fucking go. 12 Santa costumes, 11 silent quickies, 10 sex positions, 9 special decors, 8 Santa letters, 7 elves on a shelf, 6 festive blue hoops, 5 anal beads, 4 Christmas songs, 3 sexy baths, 2 solo sessions, and an honest conversation. If you choose to do any or all of them, I hope they bring you a little more pleasure this Christmas. That's right. Santa really is coming to town. Come, they told me. There's been far too much singing in this episode. Okay, moving on. I asked people to send in some Christmas confessions and stories. So a big thank you to everyone who sent one in. And here are a select few to send us on our merry fucking way. This time last year, I was getting eaten out on a beach in Barbados in a sexy elf bikini when I looked up and saw a baby turtle next to me, only to turn around and see about 30 others just hatching. So we paused for a bit to help release them into the ocean. I couldn't believe this was real life. I can't believe that was real life for you either. I mean, that sounds amazing. Like, what a time to be alive and what a memory to be made. Like, that's even going to live rent-free in my head, let alone yours. Congrats. Very here for that. Okay. Anyone who is religious, maybe turn the volume down for about 30 seconds. Okay, here we go. Ended up going to midnight mass after a very long pub crawl and dragged my partner into a side room at the church for a quickie. Happy birthday, Jesus. Well, I don't know what church it is that you go to, but clearly no immaculate conceptions happening there. Okay, next up. My husband and I enjoy watching porn together. Anyway, we went back to my family's house one Christmas and had connected his phone. I can already see where this is going. And had connected his phone to the living room speaker to play Christmas tunes throughout the day and dinner. All very well and good until we went to bed together and decided to throw on some erotica without realizing his phone was still connected. Let's just say my family prefer the sounds of Michael Bublé to the moans of a lesbian orgy. 10 out of 10, no notes. So good. I gave a blowjob to my colleagues +1 at the company Christmas party. The savagery. Again, these stories, I mean, I just love you all. I love everyone who sends this shit to me. But like, what? Like, I need context. I need more details. How did this happen? Did you get away with it? Does the colleague know? Like, how? Someone send me a follow-up to that story. I need the deets. We need the tea. Like, that's sort of like the tea's getting a bit cold. We need it piping hot. Send us the deets. I want to do a follow-up. Okay. Oh my God. A guy I was seeing ended up staying at mine after a night drinking too much on Christmas Eve. On Christmas Day, he woke up and asked if he could stuff the turkey. Needless to say, we didn't take things any further. I mean, listen, I love a pun, as I think anyone would know just from listening to this episode alone, but there's got to be a line. There's got to be a line. There's pun and then there's just run. Run. Okay, I understand. I do not feel like a turkey who would want to be stuffed either. So yeah, he needs to up both his pun game and his dirty talk. New Year's resolution 2K24. Last one for today. We had a photo booth at our Christmas company party. After too much to drink, I dragged my office crush in there. I pulled up my dress, unzipped his pants, and we had sex in the photo booth while the entire company was right on the other side of the curtain. Okay, listen, I don't know what photo booths y'all going into because all of the photo booths I know, the curtains are pretty short. Right? So like that would have to be some very specific navigation of clothing for his pants to not be at his ankles and for like even just movement of bodies to be seen from like at least like butt level down to the floor. Where are these photo booths with the full curtains? Or maybe it's not a full curtain. Maybe it was giving brazen. Either way, I'm here for it. We know I've been in some fairly public situations in my time. So I salute you. Congrats. Did you take photos? That's what I need to know. Did you get the photo booth going? Well, you were getting it on. That's the real question that we all need the answer to. Friends, lovers, listeners, I hope that you all have a truly lovely Christmas, however you are or aren't celebrating, whether you are with others or alone. It can feel like a pressure-filled time, but let's just remember that it's just a day and a small period of time. So whatever you choose to do with it, I see you, I get you, and I hear you. If you do choose to have a go at any of the tips discussed in today's episode, I hope it spices up your mulled wine a little. Please do let me know. And I will be back in the new year to kick off the 3rd season of Sex on the Peach. Thank you so much to everyone who has listened, downloaded, shared, and supported me in any way this year. I will always continue to try and help people feel less shame and more pleasure surrounding sex, but I can't do that without a support system of listeners, and so I am so grateful to each and every one of you. For those who celebrate, Merry Christmas, and for those who don't, have a beautiful rest of December, and I will see you in 2024. So for now, thanks for coming. Thank you for tuning in to Sex on the Peach today, and I hope that you enjoyed this week's episode. You can find and follow me on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Sex on the Peach Cast, and you can also get in touch with me at sexonthepeachcast@gmail.com. Please do continue to like, share, subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to your podcasts, and I'll see you next week. Love, Peach.